Charles James Agnew, found dead on a street in Liverpool. One of the things Charles James Agnew suffered from was heart problems. See this? That is a scar from a heart bypass operation. I had a heart attack in 2013 due to the blockage of those arteries inside. Like Charles James Agnew, I have a stent in my heart, keeping that blood flow going, restoring that blood flow. It was actually that stent that saved my life. And having saved my life, obviously, God bless you people at Patworth, you did this wonderful heart bypass. By the way, this also indicates that I am insulin dependent diabetic, and like Charles James Agnew from Liverpool, a great guy, I also suffer from mental illness. First of all, this is in tribute to the man. A great scouser from the sound of things. Somebody who served in the merchant navy for around about 12 years until due to problems with his wrists, which he received whilst trying to save somebody from a moving car who'd left the doors open, and he was discharged from the merchant navy due to ill health. A person who actually, for some considerable time, was receiving, because of these disabilities, disability living allowance, now being called PIP. But of course, all that changed. His brother defines the time when he was changed from disability living allowance to job seekers allowance. A man who really couldn't work, a man with a heart condition, damaged, paralysed wrists, a man even then with mental problems that were actually leading to him to abuse alcohol, a man with family problems, but a man so stressed that the heart condition worsened. His brother describes him as being harassed by the JSA. Here's why I'm holding this book. This is what the book is called, by the way. I don't know if you can see it. It is called Those Were the Days. Those Were the Days. The Holocaust as seen by perpetrators and bystanders. Now, before anyone even does it on this video and goes, God wins law, they always shout God wins law. If you go on about something long enough, inevitably you'll compare it to the Holocaust. The writer, Chucky Mark, Chucky Mark actually quotes this guy's brother, says at the end of his article, not a video on his blog this time, but just an article, there is a 21st century Holocaust, and I show you the book again, going on, and we deny it. The man froze to death on the streets of Liverpool, and he was forced to look for jobs. He went down from nearly 14 stone to 7 stone in weight, and our Prime Minister goes on about tackling a grave, a burning injustice in our society where her policies are actually killing ordinary people. I am so angry. And remember this heart condition. How long before I get transferred onto JSA, Job Seekers Allowance? How long, God bless him, before I end up like Charles James Agnew? Let me just read you a little bit from this book, because I think it is relevant. Maybe not directly relevant, but it's relevant to a Holocaust and how ordinary people, if you like, were persuaded to carry stuff out. Not so much that when the Germans invaded countries, they naturally wanted to use their own what were called Einsatzgruppen to kill people, Jews and others included. They really would probably rather get the civil population to do it. And the way they did that was they just got them complicit. They used their own petty little jealousies and hatreds and ethnic hatreds and tensions. They used them to stir people up against each other, against minorities, against those who didn't work, for they were really just feckless and lazy and stupid. And the Jews, well, they just didn't deserve any respect at all because they were less than men. A bit like the government probably considered Charles James Agnew as less than a human being. The German for that is Untermensch or Untermenschen, under men, lesser beings. Here's the quote, a quote from the book. If high-ranking SS and police officials demand and openly praise acts of violence and brutality, before long people who commit these acts of violence will predominate alone. It's surprising how quickly such people join forces with those of weak character in order, as is currently happening in Poland, to give rein to their bestial and pathological instincts. It would still just be possible to keep them in check. They feel they are being given I'll read that again. They clearly feel they are being given official authorization, and they are thus justified in any kind of cruel act. Official authorization. That's what people have been given to think about James Charles Agnew. Official authorization for that Holocaust that is going on, even to the extent that this country has been accused and found guilty of the abuse of disabled people's human rights by the United Nations. And of course, Theresa May and the Tories chose to cover that all up. Won't admit it. Nothing to do with them. Close your eyes. Let the Holocaust of people like Charles James Agnew and many other sick and disabled people who have died as a result of the deliberate policy of this government, let it carry on. Please, do something. Please, do something. Don't just stand there and get on Facebook. Go out on the streets. Protest. The next time your friends go on about, well, the sick, the lame, the lazy, they deserve it, don't they? Really nothing to do with us. The next time somebody watches Benefit Street or some other poverty porn, do something about it. Challenge them. Speak to them of Charles James Agnew, a merchant seaman for 12 years, a man, a brother, a friend, a human being who was left to die in freezing cold on the streets of Liverpool, and then just discovered as people walked by. And don't tell me this is not its own Holocaust. It's the beginning, and it gets